Welcome back to Roommate Confessions. Today we have Elliana. Elliana, welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, you guys. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself. Where are you located?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm located in Lexington, Kentucky.
All right.
I also have a podcast show called the How To Girl Podcast.
Love
Love it.
it.
Yeah,
The How
yeah.
To Girl Podcast. And they can find you where? On
On Instagram
Perfect.
and Spotify and Apple.
I love that.
Those are our 3 home bases as of right now, but of course we'll expand in the future. But as of right now, those are my main ones.
Nice.
The How To Girl Podcast. Tell us in your 2 to 3 minute elevator pitch, what do you guys talk about? What do you share? What is the main gist of your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So my podcast is an advice podcast, and I give advice about dating, relationships, lifestyle habits. We dip into health, wellness. It's a bit of a hodgepodge of everything, but it's more centered around things that are relatable to the average 20, 30-something-year-old.
I love it.
I know that's a very large demographic, but also I do feel like in some way, just like we're all very much relating to very common topics. So,
Absolutely.
Very true.
I have since graduated from my 20s, and I would say it's pretty much the same thing. So health, wellness, dating, marriage,
Yeah.
all the things. I love that. That's so awesome.
I very much look forward to my 30s. Ironic, I know that may sound a little weird because I'm like only 23, so like I still have a bit to go. But I very much look forward to my 30s. I can't tell you why, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more of a better time because you're right. Like I do feel like a lot of the common themes as 20-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds like are still relatable in some sense. But I feel like in your 30s, you're
So
a
much
little
better.
bit more stable. Like you
Yeah.
have
Oh my
a little
God.
bit more of like consistency.
Very much so. That's one thing
Yeah.
one of my old bosses told me one time, because my mom always said growing up, the 20s are your best time of your life. And when I told that to him, I used to build elevators years ago, and he said, no, forget that. No, your 30s are better. You still have the same mentality. You're still young, but you're more established, got some more money. You know a lot more. You're more experienced. He's like, yeah, 30s are the way to go, all the way.
Yeah, and speaking from experience, 30s are outshining the 20s. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got lots to look forward to.
Right. I'm enjoying the ride for what it is, present day, but only bigger and better going
Yeah.
on the up.
That's great. Well, congrats on the
Absolutely.
podcast. Wishing you the best with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to give it a listen. And of course, we'll give you guys obviously another shout out towards the end of today. And of course, the listeners are wondering, okay, Elliana, so you're on Roommate Confessions, which means you probably have a shitty roommate story or two. And of course,
Yeah.
we do as well. So we were getting to know Elliana before the listeners jumped on, and she just told us that she has lived with 14 different girls throughout college. So is that like 2 years, 3? Like how many years was that over?
Yeah, that's a large number of roommates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for being
Yeah, so
23.
it's spaced out over 4 years. So I lived with my freshman year roommate. And then past my freshman year dorm, I lived with a group of 5 girls for 3 years. But I lived in 2 different houses, one of the houses for 2 years. And then
Wow.
those were the different groups of girls that cycled in and out of those places I lived in.
Wow.
Holy cow.
So,
That is a lot. So you lived your first year in the dorms,
yes.
your second year in one house with a group of 5 girls,
Yes.
and then your third and fourth year was a different house, different set of girls?
Yes. So different house, different set of girls, but I lived in that house for 2 years, and then different girls cycled out throughout my 2 years there.
Oh boy, the cycle out, the infamous cycling out. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so before we kind of jump into nitty gritty, I never lived in dorms. And a lot of our, individuals that pop on and guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yes.
Guests have come on and they are like, yes, I've lived in the dorm, and they've got some crazy roommate stories. I have a few crazy ones from college, but I never lived in the dorms. Did you ever live in the dorms?
No, I never lived in the dorms either.
No, your sister. We know people. My sister has. I think your sister had.
My
Like we
sister
know
did, yeah.
people, but we never did. Did any of your craziest stories come from the dorms, or was that kind of more so after you moved out?
Yes, but I I have to be a little mild because I'm still friends with this girl, but we weren't friends for a little bit post that. But one of them, but it's not like extreme within a sense, but it was definitely a little bit of a like tilt your head moment,
Yeah.
but we can get there.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
I love it. I love it. Well, kick us off. So, kick us off wherever you want to start in some of your roommate journeys and experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as mentioned, I lived with one girl my freshman year. Ironically enough, actually, she was a random roommate. Met her literally the day I moved in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, but she is still one of my very best friends to this day. I actually dated her brother for like 6 months.
All right.
We just recently broke things off because we're long distance. But that relationship came from her and I becoming roommates.
And
And
which school was this? Where was this at?
this is at the University of Kentucky.
All right, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, her and I were great friends. We did kind of like start drifting apart our second semester. There were some things going on in her life that I didn't know about, but she told me about later on. But the most craziest part was like the little like still had like moment. Is I knew like we weren't like talking that much, but I went on spring break and then when I came back, she had moved out all her stuff and moved to a different floor and like didn't tell me, just moved out her stuff. And
It was not,
yeah, we
nothing
didn't
was
talk for like
warranted. Like, you didn't get in an argument. It wasn't, you just
nope.
got home and they
Just-
were gone.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, just gone. I texted her and she was just like, "Hey, I just feel like our friendship's falling out, and this is like a better spot." She moved in with like another friend.
You were like,
So
oh.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like
literally.
a little, definitely a little head tilt moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
we
is.
had,
We both
yeah.
experienced two people move out unexpectedly.
yeah,
One was middle of the night, one was middle of the day.
yeah. So we actually have experienced that. So how many roommates have we had?
At one point, I think ours was
No, but like total.
14 or 15 over. It wasn't over the 4 years like yourself.
No.
It was like 10 years, I think it was.
Yeah, but I think we've had more than that because
That's a
think
lot
about
of
it.
people.
Junction was already just 5 alone. Laurel was
I'm telling
4.
you, somewhere around 15. It's not.
It's
not
it's so we've actually
crazy.
lived with 15 to 20, I would say, too, probably. And yeah, because when you lived with Barada, there was Mike, there was Garrett, there's like we've at least lived
I
with
love that we're
15.
name dropping.
I know. Well, they were all good.
We're all good. Yeah.
They were all
That
good.
was a great
Okay, okay.
situation.
But yeah, and so, but I would say of all the 15 to 20 we've lived with over a course of, like Stephen was saying, 10 years, we have experienced two people that moved out. And like he said, one of them was in our first place. It was an apartment. We were going to college, but we weren't living on the campus. And she refused to pay any sort of utilities at all. And packed up her stuff. And me and the other roommate were watching a movie one night. And I'm like, I swear to God, somebody is breaking into the house. And she's like, no, you're tripping. There's nobody. And I'm like, no, we were watching Love and Basketball. I'm dead. And isn't like Queen Latifah in that? Like so old
remember.
school. And I'm like, no, I swear to God, somebody. And she's like, go look. I'm like, you go look. And sure enough, we ended up just falling asleep. We let it go. I had a big dog, still do, Zeus. So we felt protected.
Oh.
We were fine. And we were like, oh, worst case scenario, he's going to tear their heads off. He's a half Rottweiler, half lab. And
Nice.
and sure enough, we get up in the morning, kind of forget about it, whatever. We walk by it. We're going to grab a cup of coffee. I walk by the bedroom doors, there was double
like
doors.
Tilted open or
Yeah, it was
cracked
like
open.
cracked. And I just like casually walk by and I just stop. And I walk slowly back 3 steps and I like peer into the room and I'm like, are you shitting me? And I open the door, just gone. Everything. She moved out in the middle of the night while we were in the other room.
Completely empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
relate. We can relate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of weird. We had a reason, right? Like she refused to pay you
Yeah.
like we had a reason. So who moved in and did you guys ever become friends again?
So nobody actually moved in. I turned her room into an extra closet, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So it
That's
really worked
fantastic.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we actually became friends the following year. So that happened second semester. So like March, April time, and then the semester ended in May. And
Okay.
then came the next fall around September of that year. She texted me and reached out, and I guess she was just going through a lot, some like toxic boyfriend troubles, like just
Yeah.
like pretty some serious stuff. And so, anyways, I was like, you know what? I get it. All is forgiven. Like I said, it wasn't a bad turnout. Like I got an extra closet out of it. So it
Yeah,
wasn't like, any fridges were really burned. So I was like, yeah, we're good. And then we've been friends ever since. So
that's
That
awesome.
we are
actually
now.
worked out pretty
Yeah,
nice.
that
Yeah.
worked out well.
A
Yeah.
little unexpected.
And like I
Yeah.
said, dated her brother. So here we are now.
There you go.
It all worked out. There was a reason
Yeah.
for you guys crossing paths, and you ended up friends. And then, so
Yeah.
you lived there for how long?
The dorm?
Yeah,
A year.
just
for
a
only
year.
a year.
For only a year.
Yeah.
So, well, some people live for two. Rarely, but some people live for two. And so then
Some
you move out.
universities require it.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Some universities do. It's kind of rare, but some universities do. So you
Yeah.
move out and you move into this house with 5 girls.
Yes. This is my sophomore year of college.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So
That's a
that
handful.
year,
That's definitely a handful.
that is, it was a very much a handful. And it was funny too, because like how the house was set up is like, so like the downstairs had the kitchen and then 3 rooms. So I moved into one of the downstairs room, but then 2 of the girls that moved in downstairs had already been best friends in high school and also were best like roommates their freshman year. I happened to move in with them because one of the girls downstairs was one of my sorority sisters. And, at that time when you're 19 and paying your own rent and everything, you're just like, anything is the cheapest. So the more
Yeah.
girls, the better. That was kind of where my head was at.
Yeah, how many
Absolutely.
mattresses can we fit in this 5x5?
It's very common. Yeah.
For spring break, my freshman year, 10 girls and I stayed in one hotel room just so we could all go. Just because it was like $100 each.
100%.
And so at the time, like I didn't prioritize the things I prioritize now, obviously. And so, yeah, it was something. It was something. Like it was fun. I would only do it once though. Like literally one time for the one time, and then that's it. I would never do that again.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely used to large numbers.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you move in with these 5 girls. There's 5 of you living. You're sharing a bedroom.
So, okay, so then we'll get there. So 3 girls downstairs and then 2 girls upstairs. But the thing about the upstairs is basically it was like a whole nother unit. Like it had its own bathroom, shower, kitchen. It was
Oh,
like
wow.
a loft, but it didn't have its own doors. If that makes sense. So it was just like one big space. And the
Oh.
girls, and the
Yeah.
2 girls were just really good friends that they just shared that wide open space.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was weird because it's like, yes, there's a group of like 5 of us, but those girls upstairs really only ever had to come downstairs if they wanted to do their laundry because they didn't have to use our kitchen or like bathroom or anything. So it was kind of like 2 separate worlds in that sense.
Yeah.
But I still like the girls upstairs. They were friends of another girl that lived downstairs. So I didn't really know them that well.
Mm.
But I liked them for the times we did hang out.
Yeah.
Except the only thing about them though is they're very popular in the sorority. So every single Friday or Saturday night, they'd have these massive parties. And they were fun. Like I said, like I'm not like wanting to be like, oh my God, there's a party. But it was just more like, oh my God, you have any friends? Like it was kind of like a moment I was like, man, my ego hurts a little bit. But like at the same time, like we all hung out. So it was all fine. But yeah, that was like the only downfall with that. But it was weird. It was like a cool but also kind of an odd setup. with
Yeah.
I feel like back in those
roommates.
days too, everybody freaks out like, is someone going to steal my stuff at a party?
Oh God.
Like, is someone just going to take something out of my room or whatever, out of the living room? You never know if someone's just going to walk off with something.
Yeah.
One time I came home and one of their guy friends was asleep in my bed. Like,
Huh.
Oh yeah.
I
he
know
was so
somebody who would
drunk
do,
and
I know somebody who would do that. Yeah.
yeah, like I literally walked in, I was like, oh hello, and he like was so drunk he like wouldn't wake up, but he was cute, so I just like slid in there. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to bed too.
There you go. She's all. He was cute. She's
Yeah,
like, hey, what a welcome home
He's still,
treat.
he still is cute. I hope he's doing well.
Oh,
Not
that's
the
great.
point though. The point is, it was just random. I definitely did keep my like valuable things like aside. Not that I didn't trust those girls at the time, but I mean, when you're a drunk 19-year-old college kids, like I love my friends, but some of them are just so like, what's the word I'm looking for? At that time, they were just very like inconsiderate to other people's things.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And so like I wouldn't expect someone else to be sometimes. Oops, there goes my camera.
You're good.
Love it. So
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
did you guys get along? I mean, 5 girls. That's kind of a tough scenario.
Yeah, so we did, but where I said that like those 2 girls downstairs were already friends, I was always that middleman. So like one would come to me about advice without the other, and then vice versa. And what was even more a little awkward was one of the girls liked one of the guy friends, but that guy friend liked her friend.
Mm.
So it was a little awkward sometimes in that sense. But what was really crappy was in the end, I guess friendships really go till the end through and through because those two girls ended up ganging up on me. And so that was just kind of like a huge slap in the face. And that, like, during that time, granted, again, like, that was like I was 19, 20, like, you're still learning those first, like, defining friendship moments with people. Yeah, it totally backfired on me in the end. So, it came down to, like, kind of just like cleanliness. I'm a very clean person. And these girls, like, it was really just only one of them who really wasn't that way. The least downstairs. And so, like, those two things trickled down. And at the end of it, I was the one who moved out and moved to a different house. And then those four girls stayed another year. And I guess someone else had moved into my room. But my craziest actually story comes from them because we had the big falling out and they ended up taking off my doorknob to be petty.
They took off your doorknob to be like, so you couldn't lock or close your door.
Yeah, they like undrilled, like unscrewed
Oh,
it. Like,
jeez.
I came home one day and my doorknob and like the like screws were like sitting in front of my door. Like, it was crazy. They took down all the pictures that had just me in it on our wall and like kept the ones of them up where they had like literally like Mean Girl like cut my face out.
No, and
Oh,
then they would
wow.
hang them back up.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Okay, so at the time I was like in the middle, like part of me, like the whole picture thing, I was like, whatever, don't really care about.
Yeah.
The whole taking my doorknob off, that was a little dramatic. Okay, what I did was a little dramatic looking back in hindsight. But at my time, I had my reasons. I was trying to prove a point. So, anyways, I was so tired of them. Like, I like knew they were going through my room. Like, one of the girls was also kind of klepto, like to the point she was steal like other girls' underwear, like kind of just weird.
Oh, I had a couple girls in college that wait a second, I did live in the dorms too, now that I think about it, in Santa Barbara City College.
She couch surfed in the dorms.
I did. But I also, yes, lived with
And she didn't have a
klepto.
parking pass and got her car repossessed.
Okay, that's a
I like
different
that.
story for a different day. Okay.
Couch surfing at its finest.
Yes.
I got a couch to sleep on, but I lost my car.
It was actually a mattress on a floor underneath a bunk bed in a dorm. So,
Essentially, couch surfing.
classy. Okay, so wait a second. So sorry, I cut you off there, but I was like, holy shit, I did live in the dorms. How much you forget. Or blackout as you approach or get into your 30s. Better times ahead. So they take off your door handle. You're living with also a klepto, so who she steals other girls' underwear.
Yes.
Get that girl a Victoria's Secret gift card. Somebody get her a Victoria's Secret gift card.
No kidding.
My
I
God.
feel like also the taking of the doorknob is kind of a passive aggressive move. Like without distinctly, it is, right? Like
yeah.
you think they'd tell you like some sort of reason. I can't even think of one as to why. Hey, you snore in the middle of the night. We can't open the door because you lock it. So we want to make sure we can wake you up so we can fall asleep. That would make more sense. But like without any sort of reason behind it, it's kind of like.
That's some sociopath shit. So they do all that, so you're now living with, she's also kind of a klepto. Sorry, continue.
Yeah.
Yes. So they do that, and then me just being so dramatic, I was like, I'm gonna call the cops. And so I literally, this is so dramatic. I literally called the cops, and like, I'm surprised they even did this, but I was like, there's no real crime, but I need to prove a point to my roommates that I'm not playing around.
No!
But,
I was literally thinking 911. What's your emergency?
Yeah. My roommates took my doorknob.
I mean, like, I told them, like, I was like, listen, here's the situation. Like, no one's actually, like, stealing things, but, like, at the same time, like, they stole my doorknob. And me being, like, the Scorpio and petty that I am.
Oh, Scorpio.
You know?
That hits home. That 100%. I'm a Sagittarius. I can relate. You're like, fuck them. I'm calling 911 right now. 911, what's your emergency?
You're not getting this over on me.
Yeah. I'm a Scorpio. I'm trying to prove a point. Can you send Officer Mackenzie to the 911, or what is it? 123 Main Street?
Literally. I don't really know, looking back in hindsight, what point I was trying to make. I just wanted to make a point because I was just like, so shocked at like how like passive and like below the belt that was. I don't know. Mostly also because I don't have a tool set, right? So like that
You're
was
like,
also a hassle for me to have to
yeah.
put back on. I don't even know how to put that back on back then.
Right.
So,
Wait, so Officer Mackenzie, whom we'll call him,
Yeah.
shows up at the house?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, and I did give him a heads up. I like was super like so dramatic looking back. I was like, just letting you know, I called the cops. So if you have anything that like you don't want people to see, like put it away. Like I wasn't gonna give him a heads up. I wasn't gonna like rat him out like
All the
that way.
all the bongs and
Oh,
liquor
like stuff like
bottles.
that. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you give him
Basically.
a heads up. Officer McKenzie shows up, and what the hell does he say?
He kind of laughs. He kind of was just like he was like that sucks. Like we just had a relatable moment to each other. Like UK police, like you gotta imagine, like they don't. Luckily, this is a great thing, but like not a lot goes on like campus. So like I imagine they have a lot of free time on their hands, and it's
Yeah.
also probably like now being older, it's probably a lot of like mid-20s guys. So like they're probably just like, yeah, it's something to do,
Yeah.
So
Let's go
I
check
feel
out what's
like
going
he
on.
probably was just like, oh man, just another day at the job. Like I don't know, but he kind of was just like, that sucks.
So
Anyways.
but he didn't say to your roommates at the time, like, you're in trouble or you need to give that back. Like, did he reprimand them at all?
They left. Like they got scared and they chickened out and they left.
Oh my, this is hilarious. So if we ever have somebody who reaches out to us to be on the podcast and is like, I have this crazy doorknob story, we know to go, I think we know the other half of that.
Yes.
I think we know the other
One
half
time
of
I was
this.
trying to get back at my roommate and I just took off her
Her
doorknob.
doorknob, we're like, wait a second. We don't
I
like
know.
you.
I heard about you before.
Oh,
Wait, that is so eventually it sounds like you move out.
Yeah, I move out by the end of that summer.
And you move out at the end of the
Yeah.
summer, and then you move into kind of your third and final home that you live in with 5 other girls.
Yes.
And how does
Yes.
that go?
It went
Oh,
actually
boy.
really well. I know that sounded so hesitated. I know it did. I was trying to think of it from like a larger scale. That home actually meant so much to me. I loved that college home. I really transformed and grew so much as a person and like had my big like like my first like 20s milestone at that house. So it means a lot, but it also, as relationships, friendships naturally fluctuate and go, like it also holds a lot of those memories there. That's why I was a little like, but yeah, I actually had a great time with that house. That's where I experienced the most transitions with roommates.
Yeah.
Was throughout that time, my 2 years there.
Yeah. Chillo. Chillo is a mobile app found on iOS and Android for those out there that are looking to find a roommate, a credible roommate that they don't want to kill or, have, things stolen from them or not.
Taking their doorknobs off.
Taking their doorknobs off of their.
off their bedroom doors.
Yes. And
Cutting photos out of them.
Yeah.
Of them out of the picture frame and putting it back up on the wall.
Straight Mean Girl burn book style, right? So Chillo can be found on the iOS App Store as well as the Google Play Store. What's really cool is you can find people who have been background checked, who have verified their own ID, and who really, you kind of find the same similar vibes, lifestyle, location, and preferences, whether they like pets or they go to bed early, wake up early, whatever it might be. So absolutely awesome app for those of you out there that are listening, that are looking for a roommate or an affordable place to live, or if you know somebody who is. Give our sponsors Chillo a little shout on @Chillo app on Instagram and TikTok, and you can find them on the App Store for those that are looking for that credible roommate or place to live. Anything you want to add there?
No, it was perfect.
Awesome. I love it. Elliana's like, damn it, I wish I would have had that before Doorknob Gal. And if Doorknob Gal is listening, make sure you put about me. I steal doorknobs. Okay, so we are back and we are sharing a TikTok roommate horror story found at Lucifer's domain. Domain spelled DOMIN. And she's got a roommate horror story for us. Let's give a listen.
The next time that you feel stupid, that you feel bad about yourself, I just want you to remember that I lived for a year and a half with someone who I considered my best friend, who instead of taking her 6 dogs outside like a normal person so they could go potty, just let them shit and piss all over our fucking house. And then I cleaned up after them. I called this person my best friend, even after I watched her once take a makeup palette that a dog had pissed on and use it.
No!
Dog piss eyeshadow feel
That sucks.
stupid. Okay? I don't. What could you have possibly done that is worse than giving thousands and thousands of dollars to someone who admitted to letting a dog lick her pussy?
No?
Did you?
No.
No.
I did that. Just don't feel bad. Don't feel stupid. You don't need to, okay? Just remember me and be like, God, that bitch is stupid. I'm fine.
No. Oh my God.
I gotta give her credit. She's a pretty good storyteller.
That was insane. And I do have to give a shout out. It's Lucifer's Dominus. Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin.
That does suck.
That's foul.
From someone who's lived with 2 dogs
Yeah.
before, and like they're not my own dogs, that does I can absolutely understand where she's coming from, because my old roommate, her dog would poop on the front porch, and like she would eventually clean it up. Yeah.
Like where the
she had
front
little
door
chains-
is?
Yeah, like because we have little chains set up for them in the front yard so they can hang out there. But he was super clingy to his owner, and so he would and he's a big dog, so he would like make these massive poops, and she would clean him up at least 3 days, like like I'll give her that. But it's smelly, it's gross, so I can't imagine like living in it, like
Living
ugh,
in it.
that's
Living
rough.
in it in the house. I mean, and
I would have such a hard time not disciplining the dog. Like, to at least
Oh,
teach it the right lessons.
yeah.
No, outside, now, outside, potty, outside.
wait. The dog, there was 6 dogs.
Oh, I missed that. There was 6 of them?
Her roommate had 6 dogs who she
Oh, I must have
let
missed that. I thought it was just the one.
defecate and urinate in the house every day
Oh,
and then
no.
wouldn't clean it up.
That's out of control. I wouldn't last more
Can you
than 2
imagine how
days
much
in that.
pee that is?
Yeah.
6 dogs. We have 2 labs, and I will tell you, they piss like the Niagara fucking Falls.
I give jokes to one of the dogs that he pees around the whole neighborhood when he goes on a walk.
I mean, I can't even imagine, like 6 dogs going to the bathroom in the house.
No, that's. Can you imagine the smell?
How long would you last? How long would you last, Eliana?
I think I would last probably like a week.
A week. Okay,
Yeah, that's
that's
pretty
fair.
generous. I'd give it 2 days before I recognize like this is a serious problem.
Really? See, I think I would. I'm probably closer to her because I would keep making excuses. Like it's so not normal that I'd be like, I feel like I'm missing something. Like she'll
Yeah.
clean it up. Like there's no way that this is reality. But I think it would have been it for me watching her use a pissed on eyeshadow palette. I would have been like, yeah, I don't think this person's gonna change.
There's something not right there.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more going on
Ye-
than
yeah.
just like you not taking care of your dogs. Like, do we need
Yeah.
to go to therapy? I'll drive you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drive you. As I said,
I'll
yeah,
get you a
you
group on.
Yeah, like
Literally.
geez, that one's bad. I don't think I could do that. Yeah, I would be a weeker. I'd be a week long stayer. I couldn't do it.
I know people who don't necessarily take care of their.
Yeah, you kind of dealt with that, but
I
not
kinda
inside the
dealt with
house.
that, but we're talking like more vacuuming. Like, okay, so the dog sheds, no vacuuming, no big deal. You don't pick up the dog poo in the backyard, okay? Like,
Yeah, but for how many years? He didn't clean up after his dog's poop for 4 or 5 years.
anyway, I know people
Yeah,
who have done that, but in the house is
a whole different ballgame.
entirely different. Yeah.
A whole different ballgame. That's
I would
disgusting.
mention it to her. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like that's where I said my week was. Like I'd mention it to her, like maybe she was going through something for a day or two. Like I
Yeah.
get it. Sometimes when you're really down, like I don't even do the dishes sometimes. It'd be like that. But if I mention something to her and then she doesn't get it at least by like I don't know, I'd say a day, but like a week, meaning like, space it out a little bit. There's no way I could live there long term.
There's no way. And then we're not even talking about the part where she's
Really,
like,
that's like health
"And-
control.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking actually now because I'm such a dog person. I'm like, I'm taking those dogs out of that environment because she shouldn't be having dogs. But
Yeah.
did anybody hear the last part about how she let the dog, I don't know, go down on her? Did you guys miss that part?
No, I caught that.
So,
See, it faded out towards the end, so I'm only hearing some of this. Oh my god!
oh
See,
yes,
yeah.
ew. So
Immediately take the dogs away.
no, that's like that's where
I'm in
I'm on like
therapy.
dog control. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm like I would take the dog. I'd be like, so you're coming home with me, Bear.
She referenced like,
Literally.
if you ever think you're stupid, just remember that I paid somebody a whole bunch of money
To live with her when
and
she
they
was
let
doing
their
that.
dog go down,
on them. Ew. I mean, you've got to have something seriously wrong with you.
We've heard some wild stories. That's
up there.
in the top 10. That's definitely in the top
I would
10.
say that's
definitely in the top
ESPN
10.
top 10.
Top 10 for sure so far.
Yeah.
Top 10. What
That's-
number is it? I still think Alex has the cake about Skittles. Yeah, for those of you who are listening and you want a really good episode as well as this one, go to which one is it, Rylan? Was it Alex's?
No, it might have been 8 or 9. I think 10 was Gabriella. Anyway,
I think it might. No, wait, and he's going to tell me, and then I'm going to say it because they're just going to cut all this out. Episode 7, you will hear about murderers, child abductors, pimps, hoes,
all in the same living
all in
environment.
the same living situation.
Yeah.
I still think that
Let's
takes
get that-
ESPN top 10 place number 1.
So far, that's probably number 1 of just craziest stories. But I'd say this one,
Falls in the
one
top
you just
10.
listened to, that's top 10 for sure.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. I heard this on a podcast once, like a similar episode to this one, where this girl's roommate baked her a cake, and she kind of didn't like this roommate didn't really like her, but like she just thought maybe she was being nice. And when she cut into it, there was nuts and bolts, like like you would like put like into like things, like doors, like actual like screws, baked in the cake.
Whoa, she was trying to kill her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like that, and she was like, I thought it was weird, so like she trusted her intuition. I like, cut it first, and I was like, whoa, that one stuck out to me. That one really did. I was like, man, like,
Whoa,
that's the
that's
effort. That's
dark.
nice.
Yeah, that's like dark.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
pretty bad.
totally. I mean,
Ah,
like we've all had some bad
crack a
roommates,
tooth?
but I would never.
Yeah, crack a tooth or stab the inside of your mouth or
Or
something.
just swallow it. Like you would die. I mean, you can't just ingest a bunch of nuts and bolts,
Yeah,
right?
That'd be awful.
totally. I
I'm
mean,
like-
at least not with some serious repercussions.
No, right?
and
I'm
some
like,
medical bills.
Siri, can you swallow nuts and bolts?
No. The answer is no, Alexis.
I wonder how many. That's insane.
Mm,
That's wild.
yeah.
So
yeah.
of some of the things that we've talked about here today, imagine obviously the doorknobs, the
Yeah.
photos being cut out,
Yeah.
moving out in the middle of the day or sorry, actually the trip, the
Mhm.
spring break, moving out like that, dogs peeing and pooping everywhere, 6 of them, or screws in a cake that's purposely
Yep.
made for you. Which situation
Yeah.
would you take above all?
Oh wow. Okay. I probably would. It's in between the whole like spring break trip or the doorknob. Only because the doorknob now being like older, I probably would just like laugh and just like just screw it back,
it back
on, just,
on?
like, flip them off next time I saw them.
Yeah.
Like literally just something like whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, I do think the whole like spring break thing, like that's a memory in itself. Again, I think it's one time for the one time, but if I had to like put the two in a comparable situation, it depends on the circumstances. Like if I'm going to Italy or Cabo, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll do it for Italy or Cabo.
Yeah.
But, if I'm going to Fort Lauderdale again, not happening. Really not worth it.
Oh God, yeah, I'm sure there were some wild stories that came out of that one. Ooh.
It was just so silly looking back. But I definitely think it's for the memory. I just more wanted it for the social aspect. I really could care less about it. I just wanted to like be like, yeah, I went too, guys. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Like,
if
I
it were
could care less about the whole thing.
right. Yeah, I think if it were me, I would probably, choosing out of all the situations we heard today, I definitely wouldn't want nuts and bolts. But then again, like if I found them, I would just have moved out. But I would have been like, I would have carried that with me. Like I would have definitely like
You know there's
inherited some
something
like
twisted.
I would have inherited some like food checking anxiety or something after somebody tried to poison me with
Oh.
nuts and bolts. I'm sure I would have like
Sick.
developed something, and I definitely am not living
PTSD.
with and I'm definitely not living with six dogs that piss and shit all over the
everywhere.
house. No, so I probably would take. I would probably take
yeah.
the door. Well, actually, the girl moving out and getting the closet. I mean, that of all the
Getting more space. And
Oh yeah, I forgot that was an option.
yeah, like I would have taken that one
that's
all
probably
day.
the best one, yeah.
For sure, best option by far. I would have taken
Then
that.
you get some solitude.
Yeah, and
But
a new
then
closet.
again, I wouldn't have my best friend today if like I had to redo that. So I'll say that. I'll say that. I
Oh,
don't think I could
that's
take that
fair.
one.
Yeah, so we're all on the same page there. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
take that one.
Right.
Yeah.
But if we hadn't become friends again, then I would have taken that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
I love it. Eliana, thank you for joining us today. You have been
You.
absolutely wonderful. If our followers want more of you, why don't you tell us where they can find you on Instagram and TikTok and give a shout out to your podcast as well?
Thank you. Absolutely. I had the best time today. Thank you both for having me.
You're welcome. It's great
If
having you.
you
Thank
would
you.
like to find me on Instagram, my Instagram is Hello Elliana, and that's ELLIANA. And then if you want to find, that's also the same for TikTok as well.
Awesome.
If you want to find the podcast Instagram name is and then it's how to grow. I should know this. I just changed it, by the way. I'm like,
HTG.
it's VHTG Pod. That's the Instagram name.
Perfect.
And it's just the How to Girl podcast, and I post new episodes every Monday.
I love that.
That's great.
I
Yeah,
love
go follow
that.
her.
Yes, everybody go listen in, go follow Eliana and her podcast. And of course, if you want more from our sponsors, Chillo app, or are looking for a place to live or a credible roommate to avoid all of these situations, go and check them out on the iOS App Store or Google Play Store, or go follow them at Chillo app. Chillo is CHILLOWAPP on TikTok or Instagram. And of course, don't forget to go give our Instagram a shout at Roommate Confessions Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And if you or somebody you know have a roommate story that they want to share for a feature or a opportunity to be featured on the podcast, give us a call and leave us your worst roommate horror story at 650-271-9641. Thanks again, Eliana.
Thank you.
Thank you.